Right guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and today we are going over the Faresight Enclaves from the Greater Good. And once again, my Tau Guru, Mr. Liam Story, has joined me. Thank you very much for joining me, Liam.
No problem. Hello, everyone.
We've encountered a boo-boo.
A little bit of a boo-boo, just a bit.
Just a little bit. In relation to rules within this book contradicting themselves, but also something which probably does need addressing, and I hope that they do. And I've actually sent an email to the FAQ team regarding all of this, because it's not just the Tau that it's actually affecting. It's affecting most armies, I think.
Yeah.
So, with that to one side, we'll come to that in a few moments, but essentially, most of what is in here, in relation to the unit of the 8, hasn't changed. There's still 1120 points, there's still a Lord of War slot, they still have to be kitted out very, very specifically. There is a lot of fine-tuning in the words that are used in the whole unit. So, would you take them? Still probably not. But if you're a thematic player, they're very cool. Very, very cool indeed. So, most of this is a copy-paste from Chapter Approved 2018. It is what it is, guys. You know, if you haven't got that anymore, there it is. Now, there's a whole host of things listed here. And me and Liam spoke about this in the Tower review, right? So, if we go back and look at Commander Shadowsun just briefly, it says here that she's got the Master of War ability, C Codex Tau Empire. Liam, can you tell me what Master of War is under Kauyon in the Codex Tau Empire book, please?
So it got FAQ'd, so I'm just going to read it from the FAQ, because it used to be, within 6 inches, nobody can move, but you reroll failed hits, and it got changed in the FAQ to you pick and choose which units within 6 can't move, and if they don't move, the reroll failed hits. But it specifies you can reroll failed hit rolls, doesn't it, Harry?
Yes, it does, which means before modifiers. However, if you look at Master of War here, it has, in a turn in which a Farsight Enclave commander unit from your army declared Kauyon, at the start of your movement phase, you can select a friendly Farsight Enclaves unit within 6 inches of that unit. Until the end of the turn, the selected units cannot move for any reasons, but when resolving an attack made by a model in any of those units, you can re-roll the hit roll.
This towel player, I'm rubbing my hands right here. I want that FAQ right now.
The problem is, it's Farsight Enclaves. Because it doesn't say, in Shadowsun's book, go and look at this. It says, go and see Codex Tau.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to point out as well, right, when you get to the data sheets and the abilities for each of the commanders, Master of War, see Codex Tau Empire.
Yep.
So do you use this one? Or do you use the one in Codex Tau Empire?
The one in the Codex, apparently.
That is very frustrating, and it's an issue that is plaguing Blood Angels, Dark Angels, what's the other one?
Grey Knights.
And probably going to be Space Wolves. Because it's reroll failed hit rolls, not reroll hit rolls. Which, you know, considering that Gilliman and Calgar and the Chapter Master Stratagem all got changed to that, is very frustrating. But this book itself is actually contradicting itself in that sense. Because it's saying that the Farsight Enclaves get reroll hit rolls, whereas everybody else gets reroll failed hit rolls, but then it goes on to say that these commanders reroll failed hit rolls.
Yes, that is a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yes. So, I'm not going to go over all the rules for the 8, guys. Honestly, it's 8 models. There's, 6 drones, different drones with them. I'm not going over all that. The main changes were they clarified the rules for accompanying drones as to who can and how they can be deployed. It also clarifies Manta drop as well during deployment, with the exception of Ovesa, which is the Riptide. Everybody can be set up in Manta Strike, basically. And that's pretty much it. And of course, Genius of Mont'ka has now been changed so that Farsight can enact Mont'ka even if Mont'ka or Kauyon has already been declared. So it's the opposite way around to Shadowsun. like it was when they were training under Puretide.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they made that change, because that's the way that they fight, rather than just going, for example, with Shadowsun, I think under the previous rules, you could technically do Mont'ka twice, with the way it was worded. So I think so. I can't remember. But either way, it's nice that they've acknowledged that. I'm not going to go through the rest of this, guys. You know what the 8 is. The commanders, they are Crisis Battle Suits. They're Deep Strike and Broadside.
Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and they've all got, the funny thing is, I remember looking at them, because every now and again I think, could this be competitive? But they've all got suboptimal loadouts for competitive. But they've all got random relics from the Tau book.
Yeah.
Like, every one of them has a random relic, and it's just so funny but baffling at the same time, because trying to remember them all must be a nightmare.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, right, if you are playing a match player game with a Battleforged army, you can include no more than 2 Farsight Enclave commander units in each detachment.
What?
2.
Sorry, repeat that one again?
You can include no more than 2 Farsight Enclave commander units in each detachment.
Are you saying I can have 2 in each detachment as in 6 across the army, or I can have no more than 2 across the army?
No more than 2 per detachment.
Okay.
Whereas Codex Tau only lets you take 1.
Oh my life, I really hope these changes come to Tau, because that'll make my life a lot easier.
That will not come to Tau, and I'll tell you exactly why it won't come to Tau. Because Farsight can't use ethereals.
Ah, he can't, can he?
So then it's a case of, if you wanted a brigade, hypothetically, you had to take 2 Fireblades and 1 commander.
Yeah, definitely.
So the fact that you can actually take 2 commanders now is decent for a Farsight list, because it's fluffy. Because then the problem is, you were being forced into taking a Fireblade, right? Because you could only take 1 commander.
Yeah. I get why the 1 commander rule exists, because of early 8th edition where you just spam commanders, but at the same time, I would like to take more commanders than just 3, please.
Play Farsight and take 6.
Alright. I guess I'll take Farsight himself and then 5 of his buddies.
We've got 6 stratagems specific to Farsight Enclaves. 1/2 CP. Use this stratagem before the battle and select a Crisis Battlesuit or Bodyguard unit from your army that contains 3 models for 1 command point, or if it contains 4 or more models for 2 command points. Models in that unit have a weapon skill characteristic 4+, and a ballistic skill characteristic of 3+. You can only use this stratagem once per battle.
Now that is very, very, very tasty.
Very tasty indeed.
That is very tasty.
Especially when you combine them with them other stratagems that we looked at in the Tau update.
So I get to pay 2 CP for +1 ballistic skill, basically. I'd do that
on
every time.
On a squad of 4 or more crisis suits. You only pay 1 CP for a squad of 3.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd take a full squad of 6 and just... Because they've also got the strategy in the book that you can deep strike within 6, I believe. Mm-hmm. And you get reroll your hits or something as well. It's got some random jazz, but I get it for you. Because
it's cool. I like it. It definitely emphasises what Farsight is about.
Yeah. Oh, you add 1 to the hit rolls if it was set up on the battlefield this turn.
So that's then suddenly you've got a ballistic skill of 2+.
2+. That's really good.
With no marker lights.
Oh, that's real good.
That's it for Farsight. You know what? I'm so glad they've done that.
Yeah.
I really am. You've then got Furious Assault. Use this stratagem in your charge phase when a jetpack unit from your army finishes a charge move. For each model in that unit, you can select 1 enemy unit within an inch of that model and roll a d6. And on a 3+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound.
Okay. Alright.
That's cool.
It is. Every codex has a thing like this, because the Space Marine's got one as well, where you roll a 6. I think on a 6, and it's...
It's Hammer of Wrath, isn't it, for the Space Marines?
I like it though, because it's a giant bulking hulk of metal that's just hit you in the face. Charged into you, so it should do wounds. Yeah, this is quite cool. I like this.
The
Yeah,
next
I like
one
it.
is Danger Close. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a breacher team or strike team unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit, against an enemy unit within 12, you can re-roll the wound roll.
Oh, I think this was spoiled. I really like that. Anything that allows you to reroll wound rolls is really powerful, so I really like this.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll play Farsight because of this, but they have some pretty interesting stratagems.
Yeah. The next one we've got is Defense in Numbers. Use this stratagem in the fight phase or your opponent's shooting phase. When an XVA Crisis Battlesuit or Bodyguard unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack for an attack until the end of that phase, when a model in that unit would lose a wound, roll 1d6 and on a 5+, that wound is not lost.
So they get a 5 of feel no pain.
Yes.
Oh wow,
That makes crisis. I wouldn't say it makes them 100% viable, but you know what? There's a lot of stuff that's benefiting crisis suits in this whole book.
It's CP. It seems pretty CP intensive, but yeah, it's pretty good. Max unit crisis suits is definitely something you can do now.
Absolutely. The next one we've got is 1 CP, Focused Fury. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a character model from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can re-roll the wound roll.
Spicy.
So not only can you re-roll the wound roll with the character that you're shooting with, another character can stand still and give another unit re-roll failed wounds.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, of course, you can have your breaches or strike team if they're within 12 inches can re-roll on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Firestorm 1 CP. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select up to 3 Tower Empire units with the Flyer Battlefield roll.
Did you see a flyer?
Flyer Battlefield roll from your army. This stratagem costs 1 additional command point for each selected unit.
Right.
Or up to 3. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any of the selected units, and on a 4+, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So basically, they're like a bomb.
That's pretty cool.
So obviously, if you can get a flyer within 3 inches of like 4 or 5 units, 1 CP, and it's just like 4+ D3 mortal wounds, 4+ D3 mortal wounds.
That's not awful, you know. That's not awful.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's like Overland Bombardment, but requires flyers instead of just point and click.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. It's interesting.
We've then got 3 Warlord traits and 3 relics. So we've got the Mirror Codex as the first relic. When resolving an attack made by a model with this relic against a unit that is within 18, you can re-roll the hit rolls.
Sounds alright.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talisman of Arthas Morlock. A model with this relic has a 5 invulnerable save. A model with this relic can attempt to resist 1 psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase in the same manner as a psyker by taking a deny the witch test if that model is within 24 of the enemy model manifesting the psychic power.
Yay! The Farsight Enclaves get to deny psychic power. The only one in the tower. The only one in the tower arsenal.
And it's the only way they can actually score Harness the Warp.
Oh, please don't mention that silly stratagem. Every time you pull it in a Maelstrom game, you're like, "What? Why is it say it?" I mean,
why are you still including it in a Maelstrom game?
Yeah, it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's like, why is it say it? Yeah.
And then we've got Seismic Fibrillator Node. Once per battle at the start of your opponent's turn, you can choose to activate this relic. If you do, until the end of that turn, when a model starts or ends a move within 6 inches of a model with this relic, roll 1d6. On a 1, that model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Right.
Nah.
I guess
It's
like
a 6-inch earthquake thing.
Oh, you know what? Have you seen the really silly Eldar terrain in Chapter of Proof? Because that's what they do. It's like if you move within 6 on a 1, the unit suffers a mortal wound, and it's just really weird. Yeah, I mean, all right. I guess I don't really see this as that interesting. It's just a bit weird.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
So Warlord traits: Blooded through war. When a morale test is taken for a friendly Farsight Enclave unit with the Bonding Knife Ritual ability, whilst within 12 of this Warlord, it automatically passes on the roll of a 4+ instead of a 6+.
Ooh, I like that.
Very
I like
handy.
that. Yeah, definitely I like that.
Next up, we've got Aggressive Tactician. Commander model only. When this Warlord declares Mont'ka, it affects friendly Farsight units within 12 instead of within 6.
That's really good.
Yeah, it has to be Mont'ka though. It can't be Cowion.
Yeah, did you say this is the Warlord trait, right?
Yep.
Does Commander Farsight get this Warlord trait? Or does he still have the one from the Tau Codex?
He's probably got the one from Tau Codex.
Ah, right, okay. Alright, fair enough. Because that would make him a lot better. I would much prefer this.
Yeah, Master of the Killing Blow. When resolving an attack made by this Warlord against a character unit, you can re-roll the hit roll.
Guess it's alright.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
And then we've got the 6 objective cards, so 11 to 16. Target of opportunity. Declare that you are going to attempt to achieve this objective at the start of any of your turns, and then pick 3 enemy units. Score 3 victory points if 2 or more of those enemy units were destroyed this turn by units from your army. Score an additional D3 victory points if all 3 of those enemy units were destroyed. That's very easy.
Yeah.
That's like 3 victory points for killing 2 units, plus D3 if you killed 3.
That's pretty easy. That's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah. Directed firepower. Score 1 victory point if at least 1 enemy unit was destroyed by a unit from your army this turn, whilst they were within 12 inches of that unit.
I mean, if you're deep striking a giant bomber crisis suit, that doesn't seem too hard.
Nope. Critical takeover. Score D3 victory points if at least 1 enemy unit was destroyed this turn by a unit from your army, whilst that enemy unit is within 3 inches of an objective marker and you control that objective marker. That's
Alright. Yeah.
very, very close fire. Aggressive infiltration. Score D3 victory points if at least 1 enemy unit was destroyed this turn by a unit from your army that is wholly within the enemy deployment zone.
Again, just deep strike your crisis bomb, deep strike it in their deployment zone, and there we go.
Yeah.
That outside of that, it's probably you have to get lucky with a ghost keel or something.
Order of execution. Score 1 victory point if at least 1 enemy unit was destroyed by the first unit you choose to shoot with in the shooting phase of this turn.
So if you destroy an enemy unit with the first guy you shoot, you get a victory point.
Yes.
That sounds pretty easy.
Oh look, there's a couple of Marines. I will shoot my unit of 3 broadsides.
I know, right? I shoot my Riptide into that guardsman squad. Oh no. Oh no, I've scored a victory point, good sir.
And then calculated assassination. Score 1 victory point for at least 1 enemy character was destroyed this turn by a unit from your army.
Wow, you've just got assassinate twice.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Seems reasonable. All right.
And that's it for Farsight Enclaves.
Yeah, I like it.
It's nice that they got a little buff. It's kind of like what each of the Chaos squads got. Squads,
Yeah,
legions. Yeah. So you know what? It's nice, and I like that they changed the commander rule for them.
Definitely. I am very excited for that FAQ. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
So that's Farsight Enclaves. I think Tau in general suddenly jumped up a level.
I mean, I don't necessarily think they needed it that much, but it seemed like they got quite a power level increase from that.
Absolutely.
That's quite a boost. No one asked for it, but I'm happy we got it.
Absolutely.
Can't complain.
Absolutely. Right, well, that's it for Farsight Enclaves. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Go and check out the rest of the reviews and, of course, the rest of the videos on the channel. Thank you very much to Liam for joining me for this review. And we'll see you again very soon.